Hi everyone. Hope you're doing well. So I was shocked and dismayed to find out Rackspace is being sued. I found it while watching my good friend Steve Gibson and
Doing that again.
his recent report.
So there's that.
Well, and unfortunately, I can't even imagine what a trial would look like because this is technical stuff. I mean, it's, I mean, you would like it just to be dismissed when under deposition, LastPass Techie
I hope I
says
don't talk this slow when I do my videos.
nothing that happened could have possibly compromised anyone's passwords. No,
Yeah, and how do you prove that to a judge and jury who are not
Oh.
technically
Okay.
sophisticated?
Oh,
They bring in you, somebody like you.
them ever since. An article published yesterday in IT World Canada summed things up and offered some interesting perspective on the cloud industry overall. Here's what IT World Canada wrote. They said on December 2nd, Rackspace experienced an outage for its hosted Exchange environment. The company blamed, quote,
I am suspicious it's bigger than that.
a security incident. Unfortunately, first mistake was they didn't say what it was. A status update issued by the company noted, we proactively shut down the environment to avoid any further issues while we continue work to restore service. Okay, now that really stretches the phrase putting a good face on the problem. You know, what, they were too embarrassed, I guess. They should have just said, we got hit with ransomware right from the start. Because
But
that
they
happens
didn't.
now, unfortunately. Anyway, back to what IT World Canada said. They said, 1 week later, the outage continues.
A week without
And
email.
The
Oh,
company has, yes.
This is like
And-
that Medi story. Wow.
And the
hi
company has
Rackspace
confirmed that
users.
it is due
I'm,
to a
I'm,
ransomware
I'm Speedy.
attack. Rackspace has not indicated how much data might be lost, whether it will pay the ransom, or when the managed exchange service will resume. This is the only information from the section of the
They're
website
done.
dealing
It's not
with the
gonna
press. However, in an announcement on its investors page, the company notes that the hosted exchange business accounts for less than 1% of the company's revenue, which, by the way, is a hefty $3 billion per year.
Okay, enough of that. Couple comments. For years, I've been telling people, stay away from the cloud. It's going to be trouble. You put all your targets in one basket. They're going to be coming looking for you. Keep it on your server in your house where you're in control of it. Don't rely on these cloud guys. Sooner or later, they're going to go down. Today is that day. They've gone down, and now the ship is sinking and they're abandoning ship and everyone's being thrown overboard. Anyway, I think this is a lot bigger than what they're talking about. Let me tell you my story. I indirectly use Rackspace services. I don't use hosted exchange, but I do use their email service through an independent provider who I guess sells me their product. So anyway, a couple months ago, I noticed my inbox was getting very light. I kind of going, where's all the email? And I didn't think much of it at first. And then I started noticing on servers. I have a lot of email that's automated. I get status reports from servers from all my clients, and I realized that it wasn't coming anymore. So I sent them an email that says, since beginning of October, last weekend in September, because I keep all the emails, so I looked in each folder for each client, and I could see they all stopped the same day. The end of October, nothing's coming anymore. And I said, did something change? Did you guys do something? And they didn't say anything. They said, we're experiencing some issues with our email system, regarding access. This might be the source of the issue, and is denying access. Our engineers are still working on the issue, but can't say we have a timetable as yet. Please don't hesitate to contact us. Blah 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 blah. So they didn't really help me at all. So anyway, a couple more weeks went by, and it's still broken. I don't hear back from them. So I emailed again. What's going on here? So before I emailed them, I started doing some testing, and what I discovered is that I can't send email to their servers using the settings that I've used for many years. And then they told me, oh, you can't use non-SSL port 25 anymore. We retired those servers. And I kind of said to them, why didn't you tell me that the first time? Now I have to go. I have applications that don't support TLS. I can't just change them. And some of them, there's no migration path to ones that do have it. I'll give you an example. Microsoft, of course, Microsoft. The Windows Server Software Update Services has an email application that sends alerts and statuses, and it doesn't support TLS, so I'm toast, and it's a supported software system on Windows Server 2019. So anyway, I had to come up with a solution pretty quick because I relied on these emails to know that a server was up, running, and available, because no email meant server was down. So anyway, so for some reason they retired their old servers that supported old protocols and didn't tell anybody. They certainly didn't tell me. So I wonder if maybe something was going on more than what they were saying. So I got to backtrack a little bit. This something I mentioned before any of this happened. I received an email from what looked to be my hosting provider, telling me that I'm running out of storage space on my email account, and my sign-in may be rejected as available space and may not be enough to process new sessions. Well, I logged into my email address, and I was shocked to find that my 25 gigabytes that I've leased for many years now, there was only 365 in use, and my local Outlook is 6 gigs in size. And I kind of thought, well, where the hell's all my email? Why am I paying for 25 gigs of space and there isn't full of email? I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so I emailed them, and I said I got this email. The link on it is just alphanumeric numbers and doesn't resolve to anything. And now that I look at it after today, what I've learned, it looks like the URL in the link is encrypted. AKA ransomware encrypted. So this may be the predecessor of the whole thing. And this email came October 23rd. And ticket number, you are low in storage. Anyway, and it's from Rackspace. Now I knew it was a phishing email because I don't deal directly with Rackspace. I deal with a private company who sells Rackspace products. So how did they get my? Well, they didn't actually get my email address. They got my domain name. And they sent it to accounting@mydomainname.com, and only because I have a catch-all enabled, I got this email, and it was also flagged as spam in my Outlook, but not spam on their servers. So someone knew that my domain email was hosted on Rackspace in order to send this to me. So I suspect the data breach happened in October, because that's why I got this email. Okay, just wanted to bring you up to date. I should have talked about that first, but anyway, I got it in there. Let's get back to current stuff. So anyway, current stuff. So a couple weeks ago, I started having more email problems where my email box was getting empty. Nothing was coming in anymore. And I logged on to the webmail login. and started inventorying what was there and making sure. I assumed it was going to be in a spam folder, which it was not. What I discovered, however, was that there were emails in the on the Rackspace mail server, and this is, by the way, URL email.srvr.com, secure.emailserver.com. That's the Rackspace URL. So I discovered that in the inbox on the mail server there were emails that were not in my client. So I started working on that, sending some test emails, going manual test and receive, and I would see them arrive, but I couldn't see them. But because I knew what the contents were, if I searched for something in the content, then they suddenly would suddenly magically appear in the client. And wow, and I searched the internet for answers, and I couldn't find anyone who's experiencing that. So I figured, okay, something's wrong with my email client, and it's hiding them for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I ran there's a little Microsoft tool that scans the PST file for corruption, and I ran it, and it said, oh, it's got many errors. Click here to fix them. But I ran it multiple times. It doesn't fix them. So I gave up on that, and then I decided I had a 6-month-old copy of the machine this was installed on. So I restored it as a virtual machine and tested it there, and it had the same thing. It says there were errors in the PST file. So I didn't think that was my problem because it existed in June. So anyway, so I made a new profile on my laptop, and I set up the email account and downloaded what Rackspace had, which was about 350 megabytes of mail instead of the 6 gigabytes that I should have. And of course, I always uncheck the do not delete any mail from the server when I set up my email. So it all should have been there, but it's not. It's not there. And I didn't call them anymore because clearly they're not telling me what's going on. Anyway, they retire servers that they know are in use because you just have to look at the logs and you can see the mail. Maybe I was the only one using them. I don't know, but they just shut them down without warning, without telling anybody on a weekend, and then didn't say anything about it even when I queried them on it, because I knew something had happened, because all the emails from all the port 25 non-SSL configurations stopped at the same time from all clients and from my own server as well. So anyway, so I've been struggling with this. So I created a new PST file, loaded the file into it, ran the tool. It was clean. So then my next task, which I just did recently, was to swap out the clean file for the bad one, and then try to migrate stuff into it without migrating the problem in. So it's tricky. But anyway, that's not the point of this. So I currently have a email that I'm hoping is not going to have arriving email disappear in somewhere. Hopefully I've solved that with a new PST folder. I'll let you know in a future video. The point I want to make out here is that I think Rackspace was compromised 2 months ago, and they've been secretly shutting down the vulnerable machines, not saying anything to anyone, and hoping no one notices. And it wasn't until it became acute that they had to spill the beans and admit they'd been hacked. And everyone's email is gone. It's probably being held ransom. Anyway, luckily, I don't believe in cloud services, and I have my own backups for everything, and I can recover all the emails I've had. The only ones I guess I'll be missing are the ones since the last backup I did in the sent folder, because Rackspace wouldn't have that because I don't use Exchange. I'm using POP SMTP. So the only copy of it is on my machine, which I back up on a regular basis which apparently I need to do something more often if I want to send emails. So anyway, I think it's a bigger conspiracy than they're talking about. Um, what do you guys think about that? Comments below. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.